The ink is barely dry on President Trump's new tax law, and already, the political aftershocks are shaking Washington. This isn't just about your wallet, it's about power, policy, and the fight for Congress. Republicans are betting that permanent tax cuts for the middle class will be a winning message, while Democrats argue the bill favors the wealthy and balloons the national debt. Both sides are gearing up for a high-stakes battle, with every deduction and credit becoming campaign ammunition. The stage is set for a clash of ideologies, with this tax bill as the new ground zero. The question: which message will sway voters come November? The most direct link between Washington and your life? Your wallet. Every election cycle, politicians promise to make life more affordable, but this year, the stakes feel even higher as families across the country grapple with rising costs and economic uncertainty. The GOP's headline, Permanent Individual Tax Cuts, aims to give families not just a break, but a sense of certainty and stability for the future. Supporters say these cuts will help Americans plan ahead, save for emergencies, and invest in their children's futures. Republicans will showcase local families and small business owners, highlighting how these savings help with tuition, home buying, or monthly bills. They'll point to real stories: parents affording college, entrepreneurs expanding their shops, and families finally getting ahead. Each new exemption or credit is a targeted pitch to specific voter groups: small businesses, gig workers, families with unique needs. The message: there's something in this bill for everyone, no matter your situation. The Republican strategy is clear: build a broad coalition of beneficiaries, each with a personal stake in keeping the current majority in power. By making the benefits tangible, they hope to turn grateful recipients into loyal voters. Democrats, meanwhile, will argue the cuts are skewed toward the wealthy and corporations, with only modest relief for the middle class. They'll warn that the plan could widen the gap between rich and poor, and strain the federal budget. Their message is sharp: the bill is fiscally reckless and deepens inequality, putting the nation's long-term stability at risk for short-term political gain. The real test? Whether voters actually feel the tax cuts in their daily lives, at the grocery store, when paying rent, or in their paychecks, or if they see them as a smokescreen for a larger giveaway to the wealthy. This pocketbook promise will be a defining issue in swing districts where even small changes in perception can tip the balance of power. In the end, the outcome will hinge on which narrative voters believe, and whether they trust the promise of a better bottom line. The bill's structure, permanent cuts for individuals, temporary perks for businesses, is a calculated political move. Republicans claim a lasting win for families but set up future fiscal cliffs as business provisions expire. This keeps the tax debate alive, forcing Democrats to choose between extending business breaks or risking accusations of raising taxes. It's a built-in campaign tool. Every election, the GOP can warn of lost gains if Democrats take over. Democrats will counter that the bill's design reveals GOP priorities: permanent relief for corporations, temporary crumbs for everyone else. This permanent versus temporary divide ensures taxes remain a wedge issue for years. Every campaign will relitigate: should we keep these cuts? The complexity is intentional, a political battleground by design. Watch which provisions candidates highlight. It reveals their strategy and target voters. Two big changes are reshaping the financial landscape for American families: a larger child tax credit and a higher standard deduction, both designed to put more money back in the pockets of working parents and caregivers. These provisions mean real, tangible savings for millions of households across the country, and they also make tax filing simpler and less stressful for families who already have enough on their plates. Republicans will claim credit, arguing their policies are responsible for putting more money in families' pockets, cutting red tape, and making government work better for everyday Americans. Democrats will counter that they champion these ideas first, and that their vision goes further, pushing for even bigger, more inclusive credits that reach families who need help the most, not just the middle class. Both parties will fiercely compete to own this issue, flooding swing districts with campaign ads, mailers, and promises of tax relief for families. Town halls and community events will focus on family tax relief, as politicians seek to connect with parents and local voters. The battle over who gets credit for helping Main Street will play out in headlines, debates, and living rooms nationwide. In districts with many young families where every dollar counts, this debate could decide the outcome. Republicans tout pro-growth, pro-family reforms, Democrats argue for broader, fairer benefits that reach more Americans. The party that wins the narrative on family tax relief gains a crucial edge in the race for Congress and the White House. Ultimately, it's a contest for the hearts and wallets of Main Street America, where policy meets everyday life. The new bill raises the SALT deduction cap, directly targeting high-tax blue states like New York and California, where property taxes and state income taxes are among the highest in the nation. For years, residents in these states have felt squeezed by the federal cap, which limited how much state and local tax they could deduct from their federal returns. This move offers significant relief to upper-middle-class homeowners, precisely the suburban voters Republicans hope to win back in upcoming elections. Many of these families have seen their tax bills rise in recent years, and restoring the deduction could make a real difference in their household budgets. Democrats in these districts now face a tough dilemma: support the bill and risk giving credit to the GOP, or oppose it and face backlash from their own constituents who are eager for tax relief. The pressure is especially intense in swing districts where every vote counts. Republicans will hammer this issue in suburban swing districts, framing themselves as champions of local taxpayers and promising to ease the financial burden on families. Progressive Democrats, meanwhile, will criticize the change as a giveaway to the wealthy, arguing that it primarily benefits higher-income households and undermines efforts for tax fairness, creating internal party tension. The SALT debate becomes a wedge, dividing Democrats and giving Republicans a real shot at flipping key seats in Congress. The issue is no longer just about tax policy, it's about political survival. Watch for targeted messaging in high-tax states. This is a masterclass in local political strategy, with both parties tailoring their campaigns to the unique concerns of suburban voters. The outcome could tip the balance of power in the House, reshaping the political landscape for years to come. The SALT cap fight turns what might seem like dry tax policy into a high-stakes electoral battle, with national implications and local consequences for millions of Americans. The bill cements lower corporate tax rates, a core GOP promise. Republicans argue this will spur investment, job creation, and economic growth, making America the best place to do business. They'll highlight new factories, small business expansions, and positive jobs reports as proof. Democrats counter permanent corporate cuts, mostly benefit wealthy shareholders, not workers. They'll point to stock buybacks and stagnant wages as evidence the benefits don't trickle down. The debate: is this pro-growth policy or a handout to the rich? Voters must decide if lower corporate taxes help their communities or just the powerful. This clash over the future of American capitalism will be central to the campaign. The job creation narrative is a battleground for both parties' economic visions. With big tax cuts comes a big question. What about the national debt? Democrats will hammer the GOP for adding trillions to the deficit, warning of future cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and education. Their message, short-term tax relief, now means long-term pain later. Republicans will argue that economic growth will offset the cost, but many voters and economists remain skeptical. This debate appeals to independents and moderates worried about fiscal responsibility. Third-party candidates may seize the moment, branding themselves as true fiscal hawks. In uncertain economic times, debt concerns can sway key voters. The deficit debate is Democrats' main weapon against the GOP's prosperity pitch. Whether voters prioritize immediate relief or long-term stability could decide close races. Fiscal responsibility is back at the center of the political conversation. This tax bill is more than policy. It's a campaign blueprint for both parties. Every provision, from family credits to corporate rates, will be weaponized in the fight for Congress. The party that best tailors its message to local concerns, using the tax bill as evidence, gains the upper hand. The election becomes a series of local battles, not a single national debate. As the campaign unfolds, watch which tax issues dominate in each district. The political calculus has changed, and the consequences will echo long after the votes are counted.